Welcome in and welcome back. My name's OK Repeat and we are here with Kentucky Route Zero and we're continuing on the river. And Will, in the future sometime, is speaking to us now, so we'll continue off with what he's saying. See that small brick building? It used to be an upholstery shop. Now it's inhabited by a very skilled taxidermist, whose art is greatly in demand. When it was an upholstery shop, I didn't see nearly as much shop business. The old shop's name has been lost to time and weather. This was decades ago, and the only trace of it now is the grayed frame of an old sign behind the new lettering, which now reads Trapper, Stalker, and Sportsman, and then below smaller, no specimen is too exotic, no arrangement too fanciful. Some of the upholstery equipment is still there too, and still sees active use. Elise is the resident artist, though she's not the owner of the shop. It's owned by her Aunt Ida. It's owned by a reclusive ex-convict named Judah. Ida has very little to do with the day-to-day. She's busy with her other endeavors, mostly the restaurants she and her husband run on Lake Leith. Ah. Can I click on these? Nope, they're just for entertainment. As we sail along the river. Shan retreated to the TV room to browse the mammoth's video collection. Shan followed the other travelers ashore to a drowsy beachside bar called the Rum Colony. Oh, but I do want to see that video collection, but I feel like there's so much gonna happen. We're gonna stay inside this time. There's so much you could see. Like, it would be a totally different playthrough just seeing the inverse of each of these options. Breaking my heart. Why do they do this? Also, since Shannon said the last time she saw her relative Weaver was on a TV. Oh, there's bugs underneath. Part of me feels like it's a bit fortuitous. It almost looks like a horsetail, but it's probably the dog. There's the cat. Says Shannon, eject. Search. Let's see what we can find. The shelves are full of dusty tapes. Some have been relabeled several times, the stickers piling up thick on their spines. Birds, funeral thing, weather. And now for the weather. Insert. Watch. So we're just gonna watch all these random shows. Hopefully something's good on, but I'm assuming the names aren't going to match the contents. The on-screen title identifies this program as The History of Weather, Volume 3, Droughts. Over footage of a dry riverbed, the program's narrator explains the difference between moderate drought and ancient drought. The narrator proposes that modern drought may hardly be considered weathered at all, since its severity and behavior are so influenced by human activity. Boring. Eject. Even the bugs are bored. You see, now there was only one there when it was playing, and now there's 3 here. Birds, question mark, funeral thing. Let's do funeral thing. Seems foreboding. What are those bugs doing to each other? Stop it! Stop it! Forget about TV, there's bugs doing weird things downstairs. An elderly couple sit on folding chairs in the middle of a TV studio, undecorated except for the funeral lily and a thin blue vase on the table. The lights are a bit too dim to make out their features. She reads from a newspaper with unhurried efficiency. Gloria B. of Mumfordville passed away on Monday at her residence. Survivors include her children, Dakota, Montana, Minnesota, and Bobby, all of Mumfordville. A memorial service will be held at 7 p.m. Thursday at Haddon Huffman Funeral Home in Mumfordville, with cremation to follow. She never knew Gloria. He thinks he may have heard the name, wondering aloud if she ever worked at a cafe down there in Mumfordville. The woman who ran that place was once called Gloria, or maybe still is. They take a call, someone who knew Gloria B, if not very well. The caller once installed a satellite dish at Gloria's house, a 900 square foot ranch-style home on 2 acres at a dead end, backed by weeds and pine. When the caller mounted the ladder up on Gloria's roof, she slid open her window and tugged urgently at his pant leg. He followed her gaze behind the house to 2 wild turkeys picking through the weeds. Gloria and the caller watched silent and still as the huge birds foraged obliviously into the trees. Then he installed the satellite dish. Sad. You're right, it is sad. Why did I pick something sad? It said funeral. What did I think was gonna happen? I thought the bugs would be entertained at least. I thought it would be about curse or something, or someone not being really dead. Art thing. I wonder if this is about our artist friend. The question mark one is obviously supposed to draw our attention. I'm wondering how many of these it will let me watch. I think question mark one will be the final one, so I don't want to pick it right away. At first, she thinks the video might be paused, but on closer inspection, she can see the edges of the frame shrinking inwards around the chairs, desk, and loose gray furniture of a sterile waiting room. She watches for a while. She's not sure for how long. Several minutes. The zoom tightens so gradually she sometimes forgets it's happening at all, and finally rests on an oscillating desk fan. She ejects the tape before the next part of the triptych begins. Okay. Well, it got you to watch for like several minutes, so I think it did its job. It did its job. Shan combs through birds, question, trivia, science. Birds has been up there for a while. Insert. Watch. Oh, I could hear the birds. Blue-black morning swings across the screens. The birdwatcher tramps through dewy grass. He stops with a wet grunt and rests the camera on a pile of rocks. Birds from great distances. Episode 12 appears briefly on screen. He twists the lens by hand, pushing the frame past trees onto the road and coming to a halt, zoomed in on a fuzzy, fist-sized artifact resting on the momentary stroke of a telephone wire. Shannon, the birdwatcher, observe. He breathes heavily, and she holds her breath, like she's afraid he might hear, afraid of distracting him or being discovered and contaminating his perfect isolation. Traffic picks up indifferent. As the sky lightens, the black smudge in the center of the frame gradually becomes more prominent, but never in any greater detail. Sounds like he should have been tightening and changing settings if it wasn't coming in better detail, or he was too far away. Or his screen was, probably his lens was dirty. That could have been it as well. We come more birds. Well, obviously more birds. Maybe this time he'll remember to clean his screen, his lens. Yeah, the bugs are coming back. They like birds. Oh, we have 4 bugs down there. Cat, why don't you go chase the bugs? I'm sure that'd be entertaining. It's raining heavily as the title Birds from Great Distances, episodes 27, flashes on screen. She knows by the sound, the volley of rainwater and mud, tree branches, the rusted bed of an old pickup, and the birdwatcher's own skin and hair. He swears under his breath. She can hear the rain there too, in his wet breath and the wet exclamation of his palm, slopping the water from his forehead and shoulders. The camera is pointed at a cedar shed, with one hinge door angled erratically in the storm. From this distance, it's hard to tell if it's been damaged or simply left open. When the door swings wide, she can see that the shed is full of small boards, scraps maybe, or rough-cut pieces meant for very small projects, and then stacked carelessly on shelves in piles, quickly sorted and then forgotten. And there's the bird. A blue ball taking shelter on the shed floor, nested in scrap wood. The plot thickens. He can never seem to get a good shot at the birds he wants. He'll get there someday, though. We come through birds again! I mean, you gotta see the birds all the way through. We gotta see our man with the wet sounds get the final beautiful shot of a bird. Episode 57? That's what I'm guessing. The video is black. Shannon only knows it's playing because of the cicadas and then birds from great distances. Episodes 81. Much higher than 57. The screen isn't totally dark, of course. It's what she thinks of as video black. A deep mottled blue, noisy with magnetic decay and the cottony limits of the camera's sensors. It's the black she sees before she goes to sleep. The night black. The eyes shut against streetlights black. She has more words for it than she expected. She wonders what words the birdwatcher uses for it. She wonders where he is relative to the camera. Or where the bird is, for that matter. Enough. I mean, enough of that, but not enough of more birds. Birds. The fast and the birdie. Science. Maybe it will let us watch them all. Insert. And watch. It looks like Will, though much younger, reclined on a sofa and taking calls. His arm draped over the back of the couch holds a bottle of something clear. Water, probably. People call in with stories of their encounters with the supernatural. Will offers little commentary or response. He acknowledges them. Sometimes he interrupts to clarify or repeats something back to them. Mostly he just listens and pulls from that clear glass bottle. I mean, he's probably really into staying hydrated. It's very important to stay hydrated. Cheers. Gotta drink lots of water in these dry days. A handmade banner strung above the couch reads, "I believe you." Will? Question mark? You see, if we'd gone for the question mark one, we would not have seen the science one. Trivia thing. I think trivia thing was next. Insert. This is a very back and forth segment. And watch. And turning the light on and off and on and off again. The words tip of your tongue and a phone number are occasionally superimposed on the screen. A few dozen people sit in bleachers, shouting out ideas, loosely moderated by a short woman with a microphone and a laser pointer. That's dangerous. One caller is trying to remember the name of an old friend she hasn't seen in years. It starts with a consonant. It's full of consonants. Actually, there are maybe one or two vowels. And it sounds long, but she doesn't remember having had any trouble spelling it at any point. The friend had brown hair. That's probably not helpful. Another caller is trying to remember a verb that means to make oneself vulnerable. Something like to expose oneself, but not quite that. To become emotionally, spiritually vulnerable, like with a lover or a poem. A third caller just knows that there was something he was supposed to do tonight. He offers some biographical background, a narrative of his day. He's unemployed, has no real hobbies, and has already eaten. Few ideas from the bleachers. Lordy. What was I supposed to do today? I don't recall. Drink more water. Shopping. We got a whole family downstairs. I wonder what they like to do in their free time. If they had a TV, what would they put on it? Probably birds. A horror movie that would be for them. A woman sits at a card table with a lamp, notepad, and a beige multi-line telephone. A scrolling marquee reads, Swap, shop, buy, sell, trade, or want to buy, call the broker. And then a phone number, repeating without pause. Eddie has fresh eggs to trade for a basil plant, a dozen eggs for one plant, which is a steal. Eddie's eggs are good eggs. Sadie has a bag of fine shells, and no reasonable offer will be refused. Christopher is looking for a scrub plane in decent shape. It doesn't have to be too nice, just something to get a tabletop near to flat from some oak that's... Oop, it jumped. From oak that's been air drying in a barn for 20, maybe 30 years. And while it's true he could get the job done without it, since he's got a nice heavy jack plane his grandfather used to use, he'd just as soon not fuss with grinding a camber into it. And anyway, he's a little extra capital from the swap earlier in the week and wouldn't mind putting it down on a decent scrub plane before the cash burns a hole through his pocket. Carla is looking to trade typing services for calligraphy services, or vice versa. Vice versa. Carla, you confuse me. The broker takes notes and switches lines, but never speaks, drunk on the hum of commerce. Fun. That is exactly what it is. And now I believe it should be the last video, the question mark, question mark, question mark. I'm very intrigued to see what this will be. That's it. Insert. And watch. That awful hum. It seems to start before Shannon even hits play. Then there's that familiar room. There are the blank gray walls marked with tape and school desks, and this time she notices a few more details. The murky carpet like standing water, some video equipment stashed in the corner, a row of lockers. Yep, this is Weaver. And there's Weaver, looking serenely at the camera. As before, she starts speaking out, and as before, there's no sound but that hum. Shannon finds Weaver's words coming back to her as they appear in captions on the screen. Weaver, male school, and these magnificent, tragic horses. Go underground, as deep as you can go. The air is cool and the earth is damp, and when you close your eyes, you are surrounded by the dead. Remember where that is? You'll find your way from there. I think this place is what you're looking for. Some of it will wash away soon, but I think you'll be happy here, even without the mall, even without the male school. And these, even without, so it's repeating, so even, I think you'll be happy here, even without the male school and these magnificent tragic horses. So something's going to happen to the horses. Because it was saying some of it will wash away soon. So there was talk in the intermission of places where things get washed away, so she must be in one of those. The text repeats for a few minutes, and Shannon stops the tape. Eject. We might as well put it back properly. No reason to not do that. She steps away from the tapes and wipes the dust from her hands. I guess I guess it would have let us keep on going with that. Could I've talked to the kitty? Hello, little kitty. You never want to talk to me, do you, kitty? Oh, we go that way. It's kind of confusing, the layout. I guess I could have just hit main deck. Let's just do it that way. Much easier. Let the autopilot take us instead of trying to fight it. Oh, there's Will. Hey, Will. Kate and Will. And Val. Don't forget the dog. Kate to Will. No, it was only a few notes. Slow and sad. Like funeral music, you know? Well, I don't remember it being sad. Just simple and unburdened. Maybe that's what funeral music sounds like to me. Unburdened. To Shannon. Oh, hello! Kate and I were just trying to remember the Mammoth song. Kate, but neither of us have heard it for years. Will just found the mechanism. Well, in the mammoth's belly, hidden in gritty matted fur? Ha! It's like a big music box, a slowly spinning cylinder covered in metal pins that plucks her dulcet guts and pump the bellows in our bowels, but some of the pins are rusted and worn away. Easy to replace if we can ever remember what the notes were. Kate, did I hear you browsing the archive next door? Find anything good? Where did all those tapes come from? I found something pretty unsettling, actually. They don't need to know family business. Kate, people just left them on board. Passengers, I mean. They used to all be movies and that kind of stuff. I like nature documentaries especially, so she is the person of good taste with the birds. Some people left home movies or little art videos they'd made, but that damn VCR devours anything you leave in it. I'm glad I didn't leave it. It just switches on to record mode at random, I think, and picks up whatever's coming in over the antenna. Of course, the only station we get down here is that WEVP community television, you know? They've got that show with the gentleman playing banjo in his birthday suit. I'm sure you've seen it. So that's what must have happened is somebody left that disc in. It's not a disc, the tape inside, and then it auto-recorded Weaver sending out her signal over the waves. Well, oh yes. Okay, and if there's no tape in the mechanism, when it tries to start recording, it makes this awful sound, like putting a squeaky toy in a food processor. I can hear it above deck. Awful. That's why I put up the sign that says, please do not rewind after watching. At least that way nothing gets taped over anymore. I just realized we did not rewind anything, I think. I didn't listen to the audio, but it didn't give me a prompt to hit rewind. Where is the station, WEVP? Well, you were in one of the tapes. I believe you had said. Where was that taped? I'm sure I can fix it. Well, you had a TV show? I never knew. No, I don't believe I ever have. The title sounds familiar, but more like it's something I heard about, like secondhand information. I wonder if all the times he thinks things were second or third hand were all first hand. Kate, they let anybody on there. That's the whole idea. Community television, or public access, they call it. Well, I would say it's possible that I did the show you saw and then forgot. Wouldn't it be the first time? The studio? No, I can't say that I remember where WEVP is. Sorry. Kate, you should meet Dashiell. He did a lot of volunteer work for the WEVP in the early days. Wiring up antennas and relays, stuff like that. I think you two would have a lot to talk about. He works at the telephone exchange. Well, no, I'm afraid he's been let go. Kate, oh yeah? That's odd. He still takes the ferry to work every day. And I'm sure he's at the telephone exchange right now, in fact. I dropped him there a few hours ago. We're stopping at the telephone exchange again shortly to deliver their mail and pick up their trash. You should go ashore when we do. Ask for Dashiell. Sounds like a good plan. Maybe I will do that. Just maybe. 'Cause we have to figure some things out. Weaver's mystery messages, I don't know if they're meant with a good intent or a poor intent. Will continues, I rarely miss a chance to lounge on the beach around the rum colony, and I do enjoy a drink, though I don't find their signature liquor suits me. But this time I elected to stay aboard and shoot the breeze with Kate over some mineral water. Still, I heard reports. I heard the little old man went a little deeper in his cups. Ezra told me about the dark corners. Junebug missed an opportunity, but didn't seem perturbed. See, that beach is lit by a congregation of amber torches stuck in the sand. They mix the torch fuel with citronella oil, and it keeps the bugs away, which keeps the bats away, but the light doesn't fall very far from the flame. The rest is shadows and sandy echoes, and that's the part Ezra wanted to tell me about. He said he liked to run in the dark. He said he found a treasure. I knew better than to pry. I want to pry. What did you find, Ezra? And are you sure you should be wielding it or touching it or doing anything with random things you find on a beach? For goodness sake. Oh, if we're talking about the rum colony, I should tell you about Patch. He's the bartender, general manager, creative director. I guess that means he books the music. He's pretty much run the place for the last 7 years. A lot of folks assume he owns it, but that's not the case. The rum colony is owned by a dead man named Vernon. Technically, it would be owned by the power company who once bought a sizable interest from Vernon as part of a state-sponsored investment program, but a clause in that arrangement required them to keep their hands off the day-to-day and most of the profits so long as Vernon walks this earth. The upshot of all this is that nobody came forth to identify the body. Okay. Vernon, I think, was the ex-con comment that I had the option to choose, but I did not choose. Patch is a good guy, though, kind, trustworthy, and he mixes a strong Mai Tai if that's your thing. Sad we didn't get to meet old Patch, but I knew as soon as I heard VCR and TV, I knew that there's gonna be a message from Weaver. Is this the place we were looking for? So that Shannon could go talk? Or are we docking or turning around? I find it interesting that all these things are moving around. Valkyrie and Blue lounge below deck. Oh my gosh, part of me so wants to just follow Valkyrie and Blue and see what they're doing. But I know the story, the important part of the story is with Clara, Kate, and I. I might have to replay it just so I can see what Valkyrie and Blue do. But I guess we'll be responsible and go on shore together. Imagine if there was a game like that where you could be the hero if you just weren't too lazy to be the hero. And it made it really easy just to be lazy and put things off.